Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I will be voting to refuse to concur in this conference report, and I would ask members to consider doing the same. And I do that in recognition of the very difficult situation we have and the very short time in which we have to balance this budget. Nobody likes the choices we have in front of us. Nobody likes the options that are out here. But when we look at what is in this bill and look at the long-term future of our state, I hearken back to the meetings I do with a number of small businesses in my area, people who are laying off employees, people who are not taking a salary to try to keep folks on their payroll, folks who are taking out second mortgages on their home, whatever they can do to kind of hold life and limb together. And they have asked for nothing. I said, what can we do to try to help you? Resoundingly, they have said, we don't want a bailout from the government. We're not asking you to give us anything. I'm just asking you to leave me alone. Let me try to struggle through this. Just don't make my job harder as I try to keep my business together, to try to bring some of my employees back onto full-time. Just don't make my job harder. We need to put people back to work. Our problem, our revenue problem, is because we have so many people out of work, so many people on reduced hours, so many people who have emailed saying, I have been looking for work for 6 months, for a year. There aren't any jobs right there. People aren't hiring right now. And yet for those few small businesses who maybe are managing to get through this, we're going to say, you know what? We're going to add a little bit more to your tax burden, take a little bit more out of the private sector, and let government spend it, because we think we need it to spend into our priorities, into our programs. The best way that we can help people in this state and set us on the road to recovery is by allowing our businesses, our job creators, to put people back to work. That's how you have a paycheck to feed your family. That's in most cases how you get health benefits to cover your family. It's not through more government programs. It's about jobs. And Representative Simon, I hear the same thing as well from people who say you've got to have balance. You can't just do all cuts. But when I surveyed my district about this issue back in the beginning of last year, because the budget problems we're having today were the same thing we talked about last year, most of my folks said don't increase taxes. But of that small number who said you should have balance, I gave them a range of the type of taxes we should look at. Almost nobody said income taxes. And do you know why? Because they know that income taxes hit directly at the heart of the small business community of our job creators. That was not their tax of choice. They understood the implications of going that route. So members, think carefully about this. I don't think this is the best way we can go for the state of Minnesota. It does not balance the budget. This problem pops back up with a vengeance because none of these cuts are permanent. You go out to the tails, this budget is not balanced. We are $1 billion back in the hole, so for those of us who are hoping to be back in this body or hoping to do the people's work next year, here we go again, because this is not going to solve the problem, and you might just make it worse in the process. So please vote to refuse to concur.
We are on